from the Forbidden Blender.
We're 86 steak. A sweaty face and a baseball cap yelled at me as I rushed into the kitchen to drop off plates in the dish pit. I know, I yelled back. Well then why the hell did you just put in 3 tickets for steak? Other Barry, not me. Sorry, dude. Another server brushed past me to grab glasses for the bar. Hey, Natalie, get Barry, Chef Mike shouted. She looked at him, then at me standing next to her, puzzled. He's here. I know that, Natalie! Other Barry! Christ! Natalie ran back onto the floor on the brink of tears. Take it easy on her, Mikey. It's her first shift on the floor. Yeah, he muttered, checking temps on half a dozen burgers on the grill behind him. I pushed through the double doors to get back onto the floor as Other Barry pushed in. Even during the deafening dinner rush, you could hear Mikey ripping into Barry. I zipped around to my tables in a counterclockwise loop. Water refill on 42, fire entrees for 50, another side of ranch for the little monsters at 51. Round and round I went. All right crowd for a Friday. Used to bigger checks, but the season was changing, coming in on the tighter months. In my merry-go-round of table hopping, something caught my eye. A guy sitting at the bar. Business suit, glasses. He was staring dead ahead, empty drink in front of him. Our bar has an exit into the kitchen for quick restock. The push door has a small window at eye level so you know who's coming and going. One too many servers have been bowled over, drinks on trays smashing onto the floor. The bartender slid in front of him and held out a hand to take the glass away, but the man waved him off. Rude, but not super out of the ordinary. Finding a moment of peace in the storm, I swung around the computer console near the bathrooms. From there I could see into the kitchen. Mikey was there, framed perfectly by the window, tattoos spiderwebbing down his forearms as he chopped, seared, and fried his way through the rush. I glanced back at the bar, noticing the man in the suit again. He was still staring dead ahead, but I could see from the angle where he was staring. Right through the window, into the kitchen. I thought it was weird, but we get weirdos all the time. You put up with their quirks, and they're usually pretty heavy tippers. Leaving the businessman to his business, I restarted my loop around my tables. Hours later, counting my tips, I was disappointed. Friday night crowd was a little too tanked to remember to be generous. Well, there's always tomorrow. I was the only one left in the restaurant at that point. The quiet I found myself surrounded by cluing me in. Gathering up my belongings, I did a final sweep of the floor. Maybe some 20s or 50s lying around? No such luck as I finished up. I was headed out the back entrance through the kitchen when I saw something shiny out of the corner of my eye. I turned around and saw metal shining out from the dish pit. Deciding it was better to check now as opposed to getting reamed out by the openers tomorrow, I walked over and pulled whatever it was out of the filthy water. I immediately recognized it. Mikey's chef knife. He must have thrown it in there during breakdown for the night and just forgot. Last thing I needed was a chef missing his favorite knife during dinner shift tomorrow. They're pissed off enough as it is. I rinsed it off, dried it, wrapped it in some paper towels, and stuck it carefully in my bag. I didn't have to be at work till tomorrow night, so I figured I'll just drop it off at his place now. Mikey's apartment is barely a mile from the restaurant, so it took less than a minute to pull into the parking space in front of his unit. As I grabbed the knife and got out of the car, I saw that his light was on. Mikey works double shifts on Fridays. The fact that he's not face down comatose on his mattress in total darkness was a little odd. I walked up the steps to the second floor, knife in hand. My mother's voice in my ear about stabbing myself while running had me holding the knife ramrod straight down by my side, the paper towel unraveling and dangling as I walked. I knocked on the door. Nothing. I knocked again, harder. This time the door pushed open from the force. I stepped inside, chef's knife in hand. As I closed the door behind me, I heard a strange crinkling sound at my feet. Looking down, I saw a heavy-duty plastic sheet. It stretched from wall to wall. A giant tarp. And in the center, like a bespeckled spider in a plastic web, was the businessman from the restaurant. He was crouched down on the floor. Mikey was laid out on the tarp. His hands and feet were bound. The sight reminded me of pig roasts in old cartoons. He looked unconscious. The businessman's gloved hands held a sliver of a knife. It glinted in the overhead fluorescent glow. We looked at each other. Silence stretched on. His eyes slowly moved from my face, down to the chef's knife, then back to my face. "You here for the meat?" He motioned to Mikey. I nodded. The businessman looked like he was thinking things over, tapping his small scalpel-like blade against his chin. Then, seemingly reaching a decision, the man stood up, placed his knife in a small Velcro pouch at his side, and walked over to me. His body language suggested an apology. "I didn't know he was yours. I just rolled into town. Got a lot of respect for you guys that stay in one place to work. I could never manage. The cops are too smart for me." His eyes cast downward at the knife in my hand, then back at Mikey's bound form. "The shot I gave him should keep him out for the next few hours. I don't know about you, but I like to take my time." His eyes darted to my name tag and apron. A big smile stretched across his face. "Somebody you work with? You've got some balls." And with that, he opened the door and was gone. Once I heard a car peel away, I gasped, finally able to breathe. I deadbolted the door, then frantically began searching. I knew Mikey had a clunky .45 revolver around somewhere. He brandished it a couple of times from behind the line to emphasize his no substitutions rule. 10 minutes later, revolver in hand, I was posted up facing the door, ready to start firing at the drop of a hat. I waited there the rest of the night and into the morning. I never went hungry at work again.